Hi, my name is Greg Turner. I am a faculty member in the Electrical Engineering Department at the University of Texas at Arlington. I'm making this video for students who are coming in as freshmen to the engineering program and would like to know more about the computer usage requirements and the resources that are available at UTA for you as an incoming freshman. It is true that there really are no prerequisites to the beginning intro computer courses. However, there is some baseline knowledge that is expected of you as an incoming student, and it's mostly just kind of general computer skills. You've got to be able to turn a computer on, and we want you to be able to bring up a web browser, maybe know something about email. And one thing that we can do before you start classes is kind of baseline that experience, just to make sure that you understand what is expected, and really maybe even come into class that first day with the software that you need already loaded on your machine. Even if you don't know how to use it, at least be ready to hit the ground running on that first day. So the first thing I'm going to do is, again, make a little bit of assumption about your computer knowledge to begin with. It's kind of assumed that you can start up a computer, log into it, and at least bring up a web browser. I've kind of done that. You're seeing that on the screen right now is that I've logged into my computer. This is a Windows 10 PC, and I brought up a web browser. This is Microsoft Edge. And as much as I have kind of a love-hate relationship with Microsoft in general, one of the things that probably will be recommended as an engineer, because of some of the applications that we use, is that it will be recommended that you use something either like the Chrome browser or Firefox. On a Macintosh computer, of course, you'll be using the Safari web browser. So perhaps one of the first things that you'll do when you're on a new computer is you'll search for Chrome and go to the Google Chrome page and download the Chrome web browser. Or you may search for Firefox, and again go to that download Firefox link and download that browser. Now once you've done that, you're probably going to have to go through the process. Again, this video is not about installing software or going through that process, but it assumed that you can click on that button and run that software and get it downloaded, and you may even get the choice of declaring it as your default, and most of you hopefully probably have already done that with either something like Chrome or Firefox. So I'm going to minimize my Edge browser and show you that right here I actually have two different browsers. This one is Firefox, and it's on the UTA homepage. This one is Chrome. It's also on the UTA webpage, just uta.edu. So now the first thing I'm going to do in this Firefox web browser right here is I'm going to click on the academics link and then engineering. And if we scroll down a little bit here, let me go to where it says engineering students. Scroll down a little bit there, and there's a link here called Student Computer Recommendation. So if you are in the market for a new computer, here are some of the basic requirements that you should consider when purchasing a new laptop, or considering whether or not the laptop that you have is adequate for a curriculum at engineering curriculum at UTA. And I agree with most of these. I will say that maybe one of the most important ones is the Core i7 requirement on the processors. I know this says i5 or i7. I do think that the i7 really should be the priority here, at least Intel 8th generation. I think currently Intel is on their 10th generation. So the latest and greatest would be a 10th generation i7 would really be the best solution for you on a laptop. RAM requirements, definitely 16 gig is plenty. I would say anywhere from 12 and up would be best. Screen size 15, that's a very good recommendation, mainly because if you go with something smaller likely you're probably overpaying for something thin and light, and the smaller laptops usually have less ports and connections, video ports and USB ports. So the 15-inch monitors are usually kind of the mid-range size, and they are plentiful. They are plentiful, and therefore they're actually less expensive. I would say laptops with 17-inch screens are probably more expensive just because they are larger and they have maybe some better specs on graphics and things, but unnecessary in terms of what you need for an engineering curriculum, and probably just too heavy to be carrying around in a backpack anyway. So that 15, you'll see a lot of 15.6-inch screen laptops are really the sweet spot in terms of performance and cost. Okay, 256 gig hard drive, I would say that's really bare minimum. Really 512 would be better. And another spec here that's not mentioned is solid state. If you can afford a solid state hard drive rather than a mechanical spinning disk, that really makes a huge difference in the performance. Of course, nowadays with the remote access that is needed and the online aspect of curriculum nowadays, you really do need a camera and good speakers on that computer to be able to participate in an online class. Ports, USB ports, this is a good recommendation here. USB ports especially. Video port, maybe not so much. If you're doing a presentation, you might need the video ports, but definitely USB ports are good to have. A lot of computers nowadays are letting go of USB ports, and there are requirements for extra cables and things like that. So having the built-in USB ports is a good thing to have. Okay, so other than that, that is it for computer resources if you are in the market for something. Now let's go back over to the top of the home page and look at the other software resources that are provided to you by UTA and that you should have downloaded and you need to start getting used to using. I'm going to go to Student Life right here, and then under that there is Student Services. Scroll down a little bit, and there is a link to the Office of Information Technology. And if you don't want to click through these links, you can always just search for OIT, and you'll find this same link. But the Office of Information Technology is this page right here. Scrolling down a little bit on this page, and it says Services We Provide. You should click on Students to see what's available for you. Most importantly, when you click on Applications and Software, it will show up this link. It says Microsoft 365. So I'm going to click that link right there. And this is the suite of applications that is provided to you by UTA. It is called Microsoft 365. It used to be called Office, but these are all the applications and tools that were included in Office that we still you are probably familiar with, especially Word and Excel, PowerPoint for making presentations. Most importantly, maybe, is this Outlook. And now with the remote learning, the online learning, Teams. Okay, so right here it says there's a link to how to install the Microsoft 365 applications. I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. And at this point, the next link that comes up, you may have trouble with. Depends on the browser and depends how your connection is. But it does say right here, go to, there's a link. It's portal.office.com/account. I'm going to click on this. It may or may not work for me. And it indeed is giving me a problem. So let me show you how to fix that. If you remember, I just said it a second ago. The link was portal, P-O-R-T-A-L, office.com. Was that right? Yeah, /account. And when you get to this page, likely you're going to have to log on with your mav.uta.edu email address, and you should use that along with the password that you have for that net ID for your mavs.uta.edu email address. Okay, and that is your login for this page right here. You should see something like this once you're properly logged in. I am automatically logged in right here, and so it's showing the things that I have available to me. Now, one thing that you can do immediately right there is there's a link there that says Install Office. So you certainly can click on that button. It's going to download an executable to your downloads area of your computer, and you can go through those steps to run that. I'm not going to do it right here, but you can go through the steps to run that and get Office installed in all of those different components. Let me show you a different way to kind of access some of this stuff. Since I typed in the portal.office.com/account properly, let me back up on that and erase the /account and just go right here. Now this is actually switches over to office.com, and you could have done that if you could just go to www.office.com, log in with your mavs.uta.edu credentials. You should get to this point right here. Interesting, what you're seeing right now, since I am logged in, is you're seeing kind of the web-based version of all of these tools. And it is true, you don't have to install anything if you just want to directly use any of these things. If I just want to use Word, I can click on Word right here, and there is Word. I can say New Document, and it brings up a nice blank Word document, and I can start creating. Now, that probably is fine and well as long as you're on a computer that always has a good internet connection. You can use these tools within a web browser. Notice that this Word document is within the frame of a Firefox web browser. In general, though, that is something you want to use as a secondary thing. The first thing that you want to do is actually download these tools, the Office tools, and have them locally on your computer. So let me back up to that office.com, and you'll see here there is that link, this little drop down. It says Office 365 apps, and if I click on that, again, it's going to want to download this thing called officesetup.exe. It saves to your downloads folder. You can run that and install all of those tools. Again, I'm not going to run through this, but if you have any trouble with that, contact us, let us know, and we can get you through that. But you need to get all of those tools set up. When you do successfully get all of that set up, what you will have, if you click on the, once it's done installing, if you click on the Start menu, you will get a little palette of those tools right here. These Office tools. There's Outlook, Word, Excel, OneDrive, PowerPoint, and Skype, and those are all part of Microsoft Office, or what we call Microsoft 365 now. Now there's one here that is very important to have that did not come as part of that, and that is Teams. Okay, I'm going to click on Teams and let it kind of render. This is within the Firefox web browser. It's bringing up the Teams application, as you can see right up here. Again, it's okay to use the Teams application within a web browser, but if you're offline somewhere, or if you need the total functionality that comes with the downloaded version of Teams, you really need to go through the process of downloading that and installing it separately. And the way to do that is to first come to this web-based version, and then go to your account up here in the top right hand corner, click on that, and there's a link right there. It says download the desktop app. So if you click on that, it's going to have you download an executable file. So you save that to your downloads folder, run that, and go through that installation process, and that will install the application on your computer. Again, if you are not used to installing software onto your computer and you have any trouble with that, let us know. We'll go through the extra steps that need to be communicated so that we can get you all of these tools. So when you do have that successfully done, you will have on your Start menu not only this palette of the Office tools, but you will also have a Microsoft Teams icon there, and you'll be able to start it. So let me click on that and show you how Microsoft Teams will come up, and it is a totally separate application. It is not within a web browser. It is the desktop version of that same tool. So it is true that you can use it either way. The difference is that if you're going to use it within a web browser, you have to be connected to the internet. And maybe the good thing about that is, of course, you don't have to install it locally. It doesn't take room on your hard drive. So there is some trade-off there on having these tools locally installed or kind of working with them in the cloud. There are trade-offs there, and you can decide whether or not which one you want to use. It's really beneficial to have the downloaded application so that you can work offline, but also be able to get to the ones that are browser-based so that you can work online as well. Okay, so remember that now includes the Outlook, the Word, the Excel, the PowerPoint, and Teams. Those are probably going to be the ones that you will use 99% of the time in your curriculum, throughout your curriculum at UTA as far as Microsoft tools. In addition to that, UTA does provide a tool called MATLAB. MATLAB is an engineering tool that is very common in engineering. It will be used in a lot of your classes. And if I go back to that, if I go back to that student services page and we go down to, going back to that student services page where we went to the Office of Information Technology, one thing that you really won't find here is a link to kind of get to MATLAB and download it. So that is going to be something you will have to do on your own separately, but it's really easy to get to. The company that sells and supports MATLAB is MathWorks, MathWorks, mathworks.com. You can just directly put that into a web browser and you should get to this page right here. Now what you will have to do is create yourself an account. So there's a link, a little icon at the top right of the MathWorks page. It says sign in. So you'll click that and you will create a new account with your mavs.uta.edu email address. Make sure that you use your mavs.uta.edu email address. Just the fact that it is a uta.edu email address will give you the license that you need in order to use the software. If you try to use your Gmail or some other account, a Yahoo email, it won't work. It will not allow you to use the software. Now, I'm not going to go through all the steps here, but go through those steps. Now, the password that you will use with this account is not your UTA password. You should use your own password that you remember. You'll use your mavs.uta.edu email address for the login, but the password is different from your UTA password. So create a different password. I've actually got logged in using my Chrome browser here into the MathWorks website. So let me show you what it will look like once you have established that account. It is probably going to make you again verify the account by clicking a link in your email, and I'll even kind of show you that. Here's the email that I got a little while ago, because for faculty it makes you re-verify every semester. So this is the email that I got from MathWorks in order to verify my email and re-enable my MATLAB license. Okay, so I had to click that, and then when you get back to the MathWorks website, log in with your UTA email, your MathWorks password, and you should be able to see this page right here. At least once you're signed in, you click on that, the icon right there, go to My Account, and there you are. It should look just like this. Now, there are a couple of ways to get MATLAB and start using it. If you want to download the latest version of MATLAB, you'll see your license right here, and it may look a little bit different from you since mine is a faculty license. But there is an arrow right there. It says download, and if you click that, it will go to a different web page. and it will show the latest and greatest version of MATLAB. Right now that is 2020A, and so that's the one that you probably should download and install. Go through the process of installing that, and just take all the defaults. That will be fine. Make sure that it will probably take you through the process of verifying your license by making you log in and verifying your account that you really do have that mavs.uta.email address. Some earlier versions of MATLAB are also here if you needed those. So let me go back to my account and show you that there is a way to use MATLAB just purely online, without downloading it, without installing anything, and that is by going to this link right here on the kind of left side of the screen. It says MATLAB Online. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm not going to really do much here other than show you the interface. This is not a MATLAB class or a video, but this is what MATLAB really does look like when you kind of get it started. In the middle of the screen there's a way that you can type things in, and you really should think of MATLAB as a calculator. Fundamentally, that's what it is a way to solve math problems. So right here I could do things like just type 2 plus 2, right here, 2 plus 2, hit enter, and the answer is 4. That seems pretty simple, right? I have a workspace here that says the answer is 4. But you could do other things like assign a variable, x equals 5, and just type that in. Now I have a variable that has a value of 5. I could say y equals 10, and now I have another variable that has a value of 10, and then I could start kind of assigning things like z equals x plus y, and of course now z has a value of 15 based on the current values of x and y. That's a really simple, fundamental way. MATLAB is a very, very powerful tool. It's more than just a calculator, but it does will eventually, as an engineer, take the place of your calculator. Okay. To get out of this, I'm going to just type quit, and it will kind of return back to that session, and you can do other things. So that is a way to get MATLAB. So let's see, what else did I want to talk about? The other item that you will have included in your Microsoft Office download is one called Outlook. And Outlook is an email program. Many of you are probably used to using email. If you do email on your phone, that's great. Or if you do email, say, in a web browser, if you have Gmail or Yahoo Mail, Outlook is infinitely more powerful than something you would use in an app or on your smartphone. And it is fundamental to the exact product that you would use when you get out into industry. So once you have Outlook installed and you have enabled your email account, your email address, which you will do, you will enable your mavs.uta.edu account within Outlook so that you can get and you can receive and send email with Outlook. You really need to start getting used to that. Outlook is an industry standard tool. It is the way that you will communicate with your boss when you get out into industry. It is the way as a student you will communicate with your instructors or with fellow students, and it's definitely something that you need to get used to. If you're used to communicating via text messaging and social media, you need to kind of get over that. The ability to use email with good grammar and punctuation and capitalization is something that really is very essential to being a good engineer. When you do graduate and you get a job, probably it's likely that your first day they're going to throw a laptop at you and it's going to have your email on it. It's going to be in Outlook, and you're going to use that tool. Use Outlook probably more than any other computer tool that you will use as a working engineer. And more than just sending and receiving emails, there is a component to Outlook that will control your calendar. Down the bottom left, you'll see a link to it. I'm on this kind of email context right now, but the button right there is your calendar. If I click on that, the whole look of Outlook changes, and now I can see actually my calendar I'm pretty weak in the summertime right here, right now. But if I can go forward out into August, you'll see that I already have my fall schedule set up. So all of my classes are there. I know exactly what I'm doing every minute of every day. And that will be your life as a working engineer. You will need to be able to understand and use a calendar. So going back to the email part of it, the way to send and receive an email, of course, is click on that new email, you put in the person's address and the subject, and I'm sure you understand that process of how to do that. But also under the new items, if you click on that, there is a selection for meeting. And a meeting is very similar to an email in that you will give it a title like a subject, and you will have put people that are required. You will have email addresses that you will put there. But you can also do things like click on, it says Teams Meeting. When you click on that, that will produce a link and a call-in number and a conference ID number, so that at that specific time that is agreed upon, and that's a start time and a date and a time for your meeting is part of the meeting invite, everybody can click on that Teams meeting and be connected, and you have a conference and meet face-to-face. In fact, many of your classes that are online or hybrid in the fall are going to be using something similar to that. There will be some link to a Teams connection that you will have your class. So those are very important things to understand in working with Outlook. It's going to be up to you to get this stuff installed, and we're just kind of, a lot of this, you'll start getting these emails and these meeting invites, and we'll hold your hand a little bit in getting started, but I think you're going to quickly come up to speed on the concept of keeping a good calendar and having meetings and having your classes tied to those meetings, where your classes aren't necessarily something you walk to and sit in a class, but rather they're a link that you click on and engage that way. They should be pretty much the same conceptually, but very different in the way that they're implemented. We're going to give out contact information during the session. Your ambassadors will be giving you that information, and I'm happy to answer any emails or questions that you have. All right? Thanks a lot.